Ever since the April 2nd, 2025 Direct, there's been one aspect about it that stuck out to me, and that is Switch 2 editions. In the Direct, they're not just treated as a neat little feature, but a third library of games. So that made me think about the future of Switch 2 editions. I mean, the way they're advertising implies we're going to be a lot more than the future. So that means it's predicting time. It's me, Lassel64, and I'm here to talk about and predict games that are getting Switch 2 editions. Let's get going. To talk about what actually is a Switch 2 edition. A Switch 2 edition is they either cost 10 or 20 bucks, and then the physical was cost 70 or 80 bucks. The 10 and the 70, normally the games just run better than they would on the Switch 1, and that's about the only real advantage of them, but the $20 versions actually add bonus content to them. And they're kind of like how for some Wii U versions of games, they would add extra content or DLC content. Think kind of like that. And the Switch 2 editions can run on both the Switch 1 and the Switch 2, and you can also just buy the upgrade pass separately. It's sort of a confusing way for them to re-release games with additional content and return to games that might have needed some extra touch-ups. Switch 2 editions that we know about, I can kind of split off. First off, there's ones that aren't really Switch 2 editions, but I feel like I should just kind of mention it. A couple games got free updates, and these are Mario Odyssey, Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, New Super Mario Bros. U Deluxe, Big Brain Academy Brain vs. Brain, Legend of Zelda Link's Awakening and Echoes of Wisdom, ARMS, Game Builder Garage, Captain Toad Treasure Tracker, Clubhouse Games 51, and Super Mario 3D World plus Bowser's Fury. These all got these little free updates to the games, so when you play them on the Switch 2, they don't crash and bug out. I've played one or two Switch 1 games on the Switch 2 that haven't had these little free updates, and they've had some occasional issues, so I'm assuming a lot of games are going to be getting these little smaller free updates. But when it comes to its overall predictions, I'm predicting one of these will get an actual Switch 2 edition, which I'm going to be mentioning later. Now onto the actual paid ones for Switch 2 editions. Those being Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, Mario Party Jamboree, Kirby the Forgotten Land, Pokemon Legends ZA, and Metroid Prime 4. Yes, I know, third-party games are also getting them too, but I don't care. And on to actual predictions I have for some Switch 2 editions. Okay, here's my list of actual Switch 2 editions that I'm predicting, and I'm going in order from most to least likely, and I'll mention some things about it. I'll give them a little rating out of 10 on how likely I think they are. First off, Tomodachi Life Living the Dream. I'm giving this a 9 out of 10 chance of happening. The only reason I'm not saying it's a 10 out of 10 is because you can see in the April 2nd, 2025 Direct. But besides this is a total shoe-in for a $10 expansion that you can get, or the $70 edition. Makes total sense. Same for Rhythm Heaven Groove. I'm giving a 9 out of 10 for the exact same reasons. Only rolled out was in the April 2nd, 2025 Direct. But besides that, seems pretty dang likely. So now onto my actual, more risky predictions. Some of that might not happen. Mario Wonder. Honestly, Mario Wonder is a likely pick for a Switch 2 edition, seeing as we're likely years away from the next 2D Mario game, and possibly another year or two from a 3D Mario game. And, I think they could add some really new content for a Switch 2 edition, maybe another world or two, maybe some new content, some power-ups, maybe even add some more playable characters like Wario if they really wanted to. I mean, it's not likely, but if they added Daisy, everything is off the table. Imagine, an actual online, an actually decent online, maybe an online battle mode like Mario and Luigi. That'd be really cool, I give this a 7 out of 10 chance of happening, but it mostly just hinges on whenever the next 2D Mario and 3D Mario are going to be coming out, as, I doubt they'll want to have a 3D Mario and a 2D Mario expansion so close to each other. Pikmin 4. Honestly, another 7 out of 10, seeing as the fact that there's been long gaps in the Pikmin series, and I don't see us getting a Pikmin 5 till 2030, so this seems pretty likely. Echoes of Wisdom. I know some of you guys are thinking, really, Lassel64 Echoes of Wisdom? You got a free upgrade pack? Well, listen up. I have the best idea for a Switch 2 edition. Throughout the journey, we hear of Link and his journey before the start of the game. So, what if we got an expansion that lets us go through the exact same world, but through Link's journey through the game? You get a different control, reuse the map, reuse some characters, just change some dialogue, and bam, Switch 2 edition. I give this a 6 out of 10 chance of happening. Probably one of my most controversial Switch 2 upgrades. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate. This is entirely dependent on if Sakurai is going to be working on the next game. I'm giving this a 50-50 chance on if this really happens. We did get 8 Deluxe for the entirety of the Switch's lifespan, so them re-releasing Smash Ultimate isn't the craziest thing. They could just have all the DLC in a version and add some more content of some characters, maybe a story mode. This is a 5 out of 10 chance. It's truly a coin toss. And now, not speaking of coin tosses, is the next 4 games. I think these all have a pretty low chance of happening. Bayonetta 1 through 3. Seeing as Bayonetta has a pretty uncertain future, a collection of 1 through 3 doesn't seem too unlikely, but then again, Nintendo did charge $10 for Welcome Tour, so it's like a 3 out of 10 chance of happening. Xenoblade 1 through 3. Same story, another 3 out of 10. Hyrule Warriors Age of Calamity. Time for my final game. Age of Calamity, seeing as Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom got upgrade packs, is not off the table. Plus, I mean, they got new content like an actual canon ending, you know? So, I mean, it's not off the table. I feel like a 3 out of 10 chance. And time for my final game I'm predicting. I am predicting that we're probably going to be getting a Switch 2 edition for just some future multiplayer game they're going to have. They're going to have some game that's going to be cross-platform. Maybe there's that game that they were having testing out like a year ago now at this point. I think there's going to be some game that they're going to announce, maybe probably some multiplayer game, and then they're going to have it so it's cross Switch 1 and Switch 2. I'm just predicting there's going to be some Switch 2 edition of some future game they're going to have across mobile platforms. Yeah, so thanks for listening to my predictions for the Switch 2, and thanks for watching. Remember to like and subscribe. Levels are lost.